Welcome student to the series of lecture on fixed income. And in the series of lecture of fixed income, we are into the discussion of convexity and convexity adjustment. Convexity and convexity adjustment. So in the last session, we introduced convexity adjustment, but in this session, we'll understand convexity. I'll recap what we discussed in the last session in 30 seconds. We said that if you try to price the bond with the help of the slope of the price yield curve, with the help of the slope of the price yield curve, which is duration, then you will always underestimate the bond price respect to the price yield curve or the true bond price, which comes from the full revaluation. And if you want to actually value the bond with the help of duration and reach to the true value of the bond price, then duration will give you this value and you have to add something. You have to add something to reach to the price yield curve, to reach to the true value of the bond. And that something is called as convexity adjustment. That something is called as convexity adjustment. So if you try to value with the help of duration, you will always underpredict the bond price. You need to add something to reach to the true bond price, which is on the price yield curve. That is called as convexity adjustment. And the formula of the convexity adjustment that I gave is half C del Y square. We haven't proved the formula, we'll prove the formula. But look into this half C del Y square. Half is a constant. Del Y is what? Change in interest rate. But what is C? C refers to convexity. And that is what we have to decipher in this session. What is convexity? We already have the intuition that this price yield curve is a convex curve. It's not a straight line or it is not a concave curve. It is a convex curve. So this convex nature of the price yield curve refers to what? Convexity. So convexity is the convex nature of the price yield curve and we call it as convexity. So this was the definition. But there are multiple interpretation of convexity the way we interpret duration. Duration has multiple interpretation. The first interpretation of duration that we have understood that duration is the sensitivity of the bond price with respect to interest rate. The second is duration is the slope of the price yield curve. The similar way the convexity has multiple interpretation. This is interpretation number one. Interpretation number two, convexity. Convexity refers to the change in the duration due to change in interest rate. Super important. What they are saying? They are saying convexity is the change in duration due to change in interest rate. So convexity is the rate of change of duration. Quite interesting. Let's see. We said that duration is the rate of change of bond price with respect to interest rate. That's why we said that change in price, which price? Bond price with respect to change in interest rate, change in interest rate is duration. Now we are saying convexity is the change in duration due to change in interest rate, change in duration due to change in interest rate. And if I have to respect the derivative as in the chain rule, then I'm saying that convexity is the rate of change of duration with respect to interest rate. So that can I say that convexity is the double derivative of the price with respect to interest rate? How come? I'm saying I'm saying the rate of change of duration with respect to interest rate is convexity. And I'm also saying that duration is the rate of change of price with respect to interest rate. With respect to interest rate. Convexity, convexity is the rate of change of duration with respect to interest rate. Duration is the rate of change of price with respect to interest rate. If I substitute it there, it will become what? The double derivative of price with respect to interest rate. So convexity is the double derivative of the price with respect to interest rate. This is interpretation number two. Interpretation number two and interpretation number three is identical. Why the price yield curve is convex? The price yield curve is convex because the slope at different point is changing. The slope at A is steep. The slope at A is steep. The dp upon di is steep. It has a large value, highly sensitive. The slope at D is what? Flat. The slope at D is flat. The duration here is what? Flat. Here the duration is what? Slightly steep. Here it is less steep. Here it is flat. So the duration, the slope is changing. And because the slope is changing, that's why it is convex, and that refers to convexity. If it would have been a straight line, the slope would be constant at point A, point B, point C, point D, but it is not a straight line. And that's why the slope is changing. What is the slope of the price yield curve? Duration. And the change of duration is what? Convexity. And that's why the curve is convex, right? So this is the third interpretation. So we understood what is convexity. Please understand the convexity is the rate of change of duration with respect to interest rate. Convexity is the double derivative of the bond price, not duration, of the bond price with respect to interest rate. Convexity is the first derivative of duration with respect to interest rate, but double derivative of the bond price with respect to interest rate. Convexity is the rate of change of duration, and that's why it is also the slope change of the price yield curve. And that is what is convexity. Now, because convexity is the change of duration with respect to interest rate, can you use this definition? Can you use this definition to find the formula of convexity? So in the next session, we'll try to derive the formula of convexity. How we'll derive the formula of convexity? By this simple nature of convexity, that it is the rate of change of duration with respect to interest rate. With that, I'll pause here. Thank you. Have a nice day.